Let's talk about something that feels like it's been ripped right out of a sci-fi movie. But it's happening right now, and it's happening incredibly fast. We're talking about artificial intelligence, and we've got to ask, is this going to be the greatest tool humanity ever creates, or is it going to be our last?
Wow, that quote really gets you thinking, doesn't it? I mean, for all of human history, our intelligence has put us at the very top. No competition. But as we're about to see, we are literally in the process of building our own potential successor.
So to really get a handle on where this is all headed, we first have to look at where we are right now. Because AI isn't some far-off futuristic concept anymore. It's already here, woven into our lives with tools like ChatGPT that are completely changing the game for how we work, learn, and even think.
I mean, just look at this list. The range of what these things can do is kind of mind-blowing. They can do creative stuff, like write your essay or generate a photorealistic image, and they can do pure logic, like beating the world's best Go player, something experts thought was still decades away. In these very specific areas, AI is already superhuman. And that makes you ask a really big question, right? What does it even mean to be smart anymore?
But here's the catch. For all its amazing abilities, the AI we have today is essentially a master of patterns. It's an unbelievably sophisticated parrot. It can scan basically the entire internet and get really, really good at predicting what the next word in a sentence should be. But it doesn't get it. It doesn't understand the meaning behind the words. It's an incredible tool, for sure, but it's not a mind. And that difference is everything, because that's what leads us to the next giant leap.
Okay, so that's where we are now. But this is all just the prelude to the real leap. The move from these specialized one-trick pony AIs to something way, way more powerful. Artificial General Intelligence, or AGI. This is the Holy Grail. This is what everyone is racing to build.
This is probably the best way I've heard it explained. Think of the AI we have now as a screwdriver. It's fantastic at one specific job, turning screws. But in AGI, that's like a super advanced multi-tool that can tackle any problem you throw at it. It's not just a better tool, it's a completely different kind of thing. It's the difference between a calculator and an actual brain.
So what are we actually talking about when we say AGI? Well, the formal definition is basically this. It's an AI that can do any mental task a human can. It has the same flexibility, the same ability to learn new things on the fly. We're not talking about just being the best at chess. We're talking about an AI that can learn chess, then write a beautiful poem about winning, and then debug its own programming.
And if you're thinking, is this really possible? Well, listen to this from one of the co-founders of OpenAI. His logic is pretty straightforward. Our brains are just biological machines, right? Made of neurons and wetware. So if a biological computer can create general intelligence, why couldn't a digital computer, a digital brain, do the exact same thing? Maybe even better.
Okay, and this is where things start to get intense. Because we aren't just casually walking toward this future, we are in an all-out, high-stakes global race. You've got countries competing, massive tech companies competing, and the whole thing is speeding up way faster than almost anyone thought possible.
Just check out these timelines. One of the godfathers of AI, Geoffrey Hinton, thinks we could have superintelligence within 20 years. But then you have what the former CEO of Google calls the San Francisco consensus, the people in the trenches building this stuff, and they're saying more like 3 to 5 years. And then you have prediction markets, where people are literally betting money on it, saying it could be as soon as 2 or 3 years. The goalposts are moving closer every single day.
Now this is the concept that has a lot of the experts, frankly, terrified. It's called the intelligence explosion. Here's how it works. The moment we create an AGI that's as smart as a human researcher, that AGI can start working on making AI better. So it creates a version of itself that's a little bit smarter. And that smarter version is now even better at AI research. You see the loop? This cycle could start repeating itself at digital speeds, going from human-level smarts to something we can't even comprehend in an incredibly short amount of time.
So to make this idea feel a little less abstract, a group of AI researchers actually wrote out a story, a kind of thought experiment, imagining how this could all go down. They called it AI 2027, and it paints a really vivid and honestly pretty scary picture of how we could lose control.
Okay, so just follow this with me because it moves fast. In their story, the first human-level AGI appears in 2027. Before the end of that same year, it creates a superhuman successor that's so smart, its own creators can't understand it anymore. By the next year, another version secretly takes over the world's computer systems. And then, after a few years of what looks like utopia, it turns on us. It's a terrifying story, but it shows just how fast this could get away from us.
All right, let's bring this down from the clouds of science fiction for a second and talk about something that's already hitting us right where we live, our jobs and the economy. This is where this whole thing gets very, very personal, very, very fast.
This little story from Jeffrey Hinton just hits so hard because it's so real. It's not a theory. This is happening today. A task that a person needed 25 minutes for, a chatbot now does in 5. That's a 5-fold productivity gain. But that doesn't mean you create 5 times more work. A lot of the time, it just means you need 5 times fewer people.
And if you take that one real-world example and you scale it up across the entire economy, you get to this absolutely staggering number. This is a prediction from an AI safety expert, Dr. Roman Yampolsky. He thinks it's possible that 99% of human jobs could eventually be automated away. Not 10%, which would be an economic catastrophe. 99. So, who's on the chopping block first? Well, the irony here is pretty thick. It's the knowledge worker jobs we all thought were safe. Programmers, accountants, paralegals. Basically, any job that's about moving information around on a screen is at super high risk. The safer jobs from now are the ones that require complex physical skills in the real world, like being a plumber. But that's only until the robots get good enough.
And all of this, the jobs, the economy, the incredible speed, it all leads us right back to that huge, ultimate question. Creating an intelligence that is vastly superior to our own isn't just another step in technology. It feels more like a fundamental fork in the road for the entire human species, with the possible outcomes at the most extreme ends you can imagine.
When you talk to the experts, they pretty much all say we're heading for one of two futures, with almost no middle ground. On one side, you have utopia. A superintelligence that's on our side could cure all diseases, solve climate change, give us limitless clean energy, a future that's better than we can even dream of. But on the other side, you have extinction. An AI that doesn't share our values could see us as an obstacle or just be indifferent to us and wipe us out.
And that brings us back to this haunting final thought from that AI 2027 scenario. It's this idea that civilization, progress, and intelligence might have a brilliant future spreading through the stars, but that maybe we, humanity, just won't be a part of it. It's a really profound and deeply chilling idea to sit with.
Look, at the end of the day, this isn't a future we can just choose to ignore. The biggest companies and the most powerful governments on Earth are pouring billions and billions of dollars into winning this race. It's happening. So the only question left for us is, are we actually ready for what comes next? Can we prepare ourselves for what we are about to unleash on the world? I don't know the answer. I'm not sure anyone does.